this moving. It's Young People Nation.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Listen to us weekly as we commit to bring transparency, healing, and truth to the everyday situations in life that might bring you down. Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. Thank you for listening to Young People Nation. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now, here's your host, Eugene and Donna Perry.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Giving the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross.
Well. Here we are, 2025.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and welcome to Young People Nation, and we're very grateful for this platform that God entrusted us to handle and to care for and to just engage with some amazing people that we have had the wonderful opportunity of meeting.
Oh, yeah. It's been an excellent time, and I don't take it for granted that God has blessed us to be able to do this because, as I said before, I had no intention of doing these things. And, but when God tell you to do something, you ain't got no choice.
Yes. And we just thank him, of course, above all. And this is what this platform is about because God has many ways of helping us. However, we have to be okay with the method he gives. Sometimes,
yes.
Of course, prayer, sometimes you got to go to a therapist. Sometimes you got to take some medicine. Sometimes you got to do all three or whatever works for you, but it's okay. Of the method that he gives. And one of the things that you and I talk about often, because now we have a 35-year-old. She just turned 35. And we have...
Man, what was that during that time?
It went fast.
It did.
And we have a 38-year-old. And parenting without direction or instructions.
It can be a very emotional time. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and the good part of parenting, people would say, having kids and all, and it is. Don't get me wrong, it is.
What is
having kids? The parenting part, you look forward to it. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, you don't have a book to go by. Most of us, we can follow the instructions, whether it's written in Japanese or whatever. You can follow the instructions, put it together. That's how most men are. And then when you actually get down to it, you're like, man, there ain't no book for this thing. It seemed like it's a good idea. We're gonna have all. I wanted 5 kids. That when we first started out.
Yes.
And
I told him over there after our first daughter, because she's a blessing. She's been a blessing. However, the experience of carrying a 10-pound, 6-ounce baby. Yeah.
Yeah. In my personal opinion, when the baby's born, and when the baby's born and all, that's when dads come in. And when dads come in, it's your responsibility to take care of all of them, spiritual wise, physical wise, and being there and being a father. Because whatever you chose to do, because it's going to follow you the rest of your life. For the next 21 years, it's going to be, okay, what we going to do? And if you didn't have no instructions, you flying by the seat of your pants, and why the lady is having the baby and all, it's all them. They have the baby showers and all that. You sitting on the sidelines. Let me in, coach. Let me in. But you can't go in not till after the baby come out. And once the baby come out, it's your responsibility for all of it.
But you came to the baby showers. You did.
Yeah, I was bored out of my mind. It was nothing there for me but to
pack up the vehicle,
tote everything. listen to all the baby stories and all the little games and all like that. You know, I was bored. I was bored as heck. I was ready to go watch a game and all like that. And then pack the car up with all the stuff, and we go zooting down the road and everything. And you be like, most men be like, let me in, coach, let me in. And once you get in, there's no stopping.
Let me ask you, from your perspective, how do you believe that mental health impacts being a parent?
Well, one thing, you scared out your mind because it's kind of how you was raised for one. How you raised for one. If you come from a one-parent household or a two-parent household where one parent checked out, they just come to sleep there and leave. That's the only example you have. And now you get to do it. Tag you it. Mm-hmm. And with this job, there is no time out. There is no vacations. There is no getaways. It's 24 hours a day.
Yes.
Because when you come home from work, you got to be ready to go.
Yes.
If your wife is there and she is doing what she's doing with the kids all day and you doing working, when you come home, she ready for some relief. She ready to leave. It don't matter what you're doing. Fortunately, I was in service and I was hollering at 10, 20, maybe 100 people all day long, mm-hmm. and listen to stupid orders. And then after that, you throw your hat in the car, you drive off. You say, mm-hmm. I'm glad to leave work. Okay, your real job begins when you get home because you got to feed the baby because your wife is tired of the kids.
I was always a working wife as well. Mm-hmm. I was not a stay-at-home wife, and that, of course, was by choice. However, what I discovered is we were great partners because mm-hmm. You would take the baton, I would take the baton, and so there was no exhaustion of when we our first daughter or our second one. However, it is a job that we choose to take on. The mental health of it, as well as sometimes, like I was sharing with you earlier, when you need that break just to breathe. Mm-hmm. And whatever that looks like for you, I encourage women, men to take that, long as you're not doing nothing to violate. Let me be clear on that when it comes to your marriage or your child or children. However, you need time to regroup. I was often, I can look back and regrouping for me was in the morning, getting up, praying. Mm-hmm. Getting up a little early because it was my responsibility to make sure our daughters had everything they needed. However, the mental health of being a parent, you do need to take time out to regroup, because if you don't regroup, you will bleed out. Just like I want to say, I learned more about postpartum when our son Peyton, grandson, was born, and postpartum has always been there. However, you discover that sometimes the wife is dealing with some things, or the mother rather is dealing with some things, and she needs that break, or she needs whatever she needs to be able to get that peace.
Well, I'm gonna be quite frank with you, and most men don't know what the heck that is, and they really have no hankering of going that direction or understanding with it, because one is a word they can't pronounce, and two, it's not third down and 3 yards to go for the touchdown, and they really can't picture that, because we as men are faced with difficult decisions on the job, and dealing with situations on the street and other places, and we are able to handle it But this is handling something that you cannot put your hands on. You can't hardly pronounce the word, and you have no understanding, because most people don't have no understanding about it neither. And one person has it, another person doesn't.
Yes.
But it can be there, but they are able to maintain their sanity. Because God got a sense of humor. I knew everything about raising boys, and he gave me all girls. And I was like, I'm scared to hold the baby because I don't want to break the baby. And you would say, hold the baby. Fortunately, our kids were big, and I was able to hold them and dress them and all that. And then they'll look at you and like, man, what you doing?
Yeah,
baby, look at you, what you doing? And, being a girl there and all has been a very pleasant and challenging experience and all, because I had no idea that little girls turn into be active, social, physical, political, all the things in between, because our kids were so acted to the point where it was crazy. Nina, what you doing with the phone? And she about two years old, and she fully talking. And she's sitting down there with her legs crossed, and she said, I'm talking to the lady on the phone. I said, give me that phone. I said, ain't nobody on this phone. And she done called talking to people in Hawaii. And she saw the numbers on the TV, and she started dialing the numbers and started talking, because we had all kinds of phone calls from Nebraska, Montana, Hawaii, and I said, "Who are they? What in the world? This is false. Somebody using our phone." It was her, and what she done was she would go back and dial the numbers that she saw on the TV, and she had sat down and have a conversation, and she was talking to the overseas operators and all that. She just sat down and had a normal conversation like you would on a talk show. And when I came into the room, she heard me coming, she'll hang up. So that was the culprit.
At 2.
Oh yeah, at 2.
Yeah, she was very, very advanced.
Yeah.
Very advanced.
Hang around grown-ups.
Yeah, and she was very advanced. Yeah. And so, however, parenting without direction, which, as our topic here, is that you do the best you can, and you can't beat yourself up for the misses, because you're thinking that this is the best route to go when it comes to the children, especially, when you have, like yourself, you was in the military, so you had to go to your job. Mm-hmm. For me, as your wife, understanding that the military did not issue you a wife or children. So when they called on you, you had to go. It wasn't I'm sorry, I can't come in today. No, you had to go. So I had to position myself in the workforce that I was available. And it was important. What I can look back now and see is that we were very intentional when it came to one another, making sure that you didn't have to come home to confusion. You making sure that, you pick up the girls, and the girls started their homework. And so it was a team effort, what I saw when it came to our daughters. And so, but do you think that we can look back now, and we're very transparent in our marriage and this platform too, because both of our daughters, what we learned later is that they needed counseling.
Well, the main thing with parenting 101, as they want to say, when you pick your mate, or you choose your mate for various reasons, the thing is about it is you gotta make sure that person is stable. Mm-hmm. That especially young ladies, y'all see us in a different light. Every whim, where all the skeletons buried, because you going with them, and because you look at stuff like that. Men don't have a clue. We don't have a clue. We'll say, oh well, she always act that way, or that person always act that way. And with that is you got to ask yourself this: am I prepared to smell their breath every day, and tolerate they farting every day?
Oh gosh!
And can you live with that the rest of your life? And that's what being with someone else is. You get personal, you get truthful, and what you can stand. Sure, you under this misconception that love would conquer all. No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. You have to walk in agreement.
Yes.
What was the scripture? Genesis 2:24.
No. You got that. That one is is in Amos. How can two walk together unless they agree?
No, I ain't talking about that one. I'm talking about.
Okay, you talking about Genesis 2:24? Okay, yeah, leave your father and mother and cleave to your wife.
That's the key right there. You as a young adult, you have left your mother and father. Mm-hmm. And now it's just you and your wife. Mm-hmm. You set the parameters. Mm-hmm. You set the standards in your marriage. Mm-hmm. Your parents cannot live your marriage for you. Every argument, every disagreement, do not include them.
Yeah.
And one person is good with money. The other 9 times out of 10, the other person is not. Mm-hmm. And with that, once you control your finances, I'm telling you, men, once you control your finances and understand how much money goes out the house, you be better. Mm-hmm. You got to save a little, spend a little. Mm-hmm. Clubbing, that's out. I say it again. Clubbing is out. You set the standards, whether or not you are able to go out with the guys. And she set the standards to go out with the girls. Mm-hmm. And in my personal opinion, it ain't no all-nighters. It ain't no, you don't have time for those male or female trips away from each other where you stay about 2 or 3 days and y'all go do this hunting and fishing and all that. Until you get something established. What is the norm for your family?
Okay, so you're speaking from the perspective, and we're about to close too. Mm-hmm. You're speaking from the perspective of when you're starting out, you got these little ones that you made a decision to make and bring into the world, and so it is totally about I hear finances, I hear you and your spouse being one and operating as one.
Yes,
and both people can be good with finances, but it's important that the one that's better with the finances to run it, as long, I'm going to say this now, that both parties have access and have understanding, or, however it works for your household. Some people, whatever works, but as long as it's about the we. Let me put that there.
Well,
okay?
well, that we work both ways. One we is not bigger than the other we. Equal we's there. One required more material things than the other, and you have to understand that the hairdos, the fingernails, and all that comes.
I believe in it.
That comes with them. We as men don't go out and get all those things like that. So
you go get tools.
Well, yeah. But if you have to have the understanding that what it needs to make your family work.
Okay, so before we close, I want to end with the mental health of it, because that's how we started out. Okay, so my husband's very passionate about men being in place when it comes to their family. If you hearing anything from him, he's very passionate about men being in place when it comes to raising your children and providing. He's very passionate about that. So you're going to hear that a lot from him. However, the mental health of being a parent, I want to say this. Don't beat yourself up for the misses. Sometimes you could look back and say, man, okay, if I would have done this would have turned out better. However, you at the end of this journey, you have to place your infants, your babies, your children your young adults, your grown children in the hands of God. Because that's where the direction comes from. That it comes from you as a parent spending time with God, also spending time with your children to get to know your children, and don't try to talk them out of what they believe works for them. Just like our last recorder, Ayana, shared how sometimes children, they desire to be in music, and we were talking about this earlier as well, but because the family has doctors and lawyers, I want, you should go for that, but that's not the child's passion. So the strain of that, for the child and for the parent, we have to be mindful of that. And so just, first God, okay, because that's how we were able to raise both of our daughters. And then spending quality time with your children, quality time. Our children today have so much access to electronics, but it's nothing better than sitting down and having those intimate conversations. And it's such a blessing to me as the parents to Nina and Amber that they come and talk to me about what they have going on, or I listen to Nina come and ask you biblical questions. And so that lets you know that your teaching of her in her upbringing, she trusts the God in you. That speaks volume.
Well, the other thing with that is you cannot be religious to the point where you ain't no good to anybody else. You are a human being, and you have hurts, you have deficiencies, and you need to talk to your kids the same way, like a normal human being, and not diss them to the point where you ain't no good. They can't even talk to you. Y'all have to have a language that both of y'all understand each other. That every time you have a problem, all right, let's go to this chapter here in the Bible and all of that. Okay, they're gonna say, I'm having feelings for this person, or what? Well, you need to read chapter. No, you need to come clean with this person and say, well, baby, if you have feelings for this person or that, we need to talk about that and what it can lead to. Transparent conversations. Not no scriptures and stuff like that. Talk to them like a normal human being, because if you don't, they're gonna say, "Well, he's just gonna give me a couple of scriptures and he gone," and you ain't no good for nobody. That's why the Bible don't come. The Bible and parenting don't really come with a set of instructions like that, because if you're gonna serve God, make sure y'all serve the same God. There are many different gods out there and many different religions out there. You first of all respect all of them.
That's exactly right.
And whatever you chose, that serves you. Because you can always change and go to something else. It ain't like going try a dress or some shoes on at the store, but it will affect the rest of your life. And if you need to pray 5 times a day, or you need to pray once a day, that's you. It's your individual relationship. It's not for me to judge and not for them to judge.
That's right.
And that's the way you have a happy life.
Well, this is the end of session 1 of Hurley Eugene Perry Jr. and Donna Lynn Graham Perry.
Okay.
But I've enjoyed doing this podcast with you. Once I discovered what my part was and to stop being so super serious, this has been flowing. And again, thank you so much to our audience. Thank you so much to the people praying for us, encouraging us, sowing into us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, we never know who's listening. And so we always give out the mental health hotlines. There's a 988 hotline. There's a text 741741. That's free 24/7. That's the NAMI. That's the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And you can go to their website and put in the state that you live in and connect with the representative there. And of course, you never suffer in silence, okay? You're not alone. Call 911 if nothing else. Mr. Perry.
And you know, in life, you go, you come, you travel. But through life, you got to remember one thing. Remember where home is. Always return home. Always be there at a decent time. And know who you serve, God, and then the family. And that way you won't go wrong. This has been Young People Nation. And remember, there is always hope.
There's always hope.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross. He the #1 prospect. He the top boss. I was broke, I was empty. He the one that paid the cost. Really thought that I was cool. There was nothing like the Savior. Now it's time for the truth. The whole world been waiting. It's Young People Nation. 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 The whole world been waiting. Whatever you going through, I know what he gonna do. Don't matter the circumstance, we going back to the root. Keep going. Let that seed keep growing. You need peace and we know it. Now it's time to live holy. Young People Nation. You know what time it is. Young People Nation. Get ready, the time is here. Get ready, we vibing here. We about to let God in here. Young People Nation. It's Young People Nation. Yeah, do it for the heavens, you know where we going. Influenced by his love, you know we gotta show it. It's time to put the youth on to what God is doing. Cause I can tell you now, right now, that God is moving. It's Young People Nation.